Alright y'all, welcome back to another video. Happy Monday to everyone. Today we are talking about turbos and turbo selections. You guys can check out Nasty Speed Performance where we stock these turbos. It'll be the first link in the description below. The second link in the description below will be to our event page for our Storm Training Day rodeo. If you guys are interested in doing storm work, please check it out. It's 2024. It's time to make some moves, so come join the team. JDR is growing like always. We'd love to have you. 3/4 ton truck. If you like making money, if you have a pulse, those are the requirements. I feel like those are pretty big requirements. If you have a pulse, if you're watching this video, you have at least one of the three, hopefully two of the three. But anyways, we're going to talk about turbos and how to know what turbo you want. I get asked a lot. A lot of people hit me up on my personal pages, which I'm fine. Like, I like to use my platform to share information, and that is what this video is for. So we have a couple different chassis turbos here, which we're going to go over the chassis, and then we'll talk about the sizes, and then we'll talk about what application will fit you guys the best. So when someone says it's a different chassis turbo, that means like the actual footprint of it. So this is a Borg Warner chassis. This is an S300, which is obviously the smallest of the array of turbos we have here. Then we step up to a Borg Warner chassis S400. This is what came stock on like a Peterbilt or a Cat or a Cummins and like a big truck or equipment. The S400 stuff, like back in the day, it was like the 76 millimeter that came off the trucks everyone ran. So these are very popular turbos. This is also S400. If you look at the size of the compressor, this is a little bit bigger. So this is an 88 millimeter S400. This is a 78 millimeter S400. And then we step over to the Garrett chassis stuff. This is GT55. So this is what you see on a lot of the 90%, maybe even more, maybe 95% of like the single turbo race cars in any like small block boost or LDR. It's either this or like a large frame. The GT55 stuff is extremely popular. Huge step up going to a GT55 from the S400 stuff. So now that you guys know the chassis, and you can see the size difference of them all. Pretty much the turbo is just an air pump. You gotta build a motor to hang on. So they all have a horsepower rating, and depending on what your horsepower goals is, that's what turbo you're going to choose. There's no point to take a 2,000 horsepower capable turbo and make 800 horsepower with it. It's going to drive like shit. It's gonna not be enjoyable to drive. I know everyone thinks like the massive turbos that have boost lag, it's cool, the boost loading. I can tell you from experience, it's not cool and it's not enjoyable. Driving a car on the street with an absolutely oversized turbo for the application sucks. It's not fun. So spec them out right. I've actually had great luck with maybe even a little bit smaller turbo than what I need, but it drives great on the street and makes it way more enjoyable. So something like this, the twin turbo stuff, or if you're running just a small single turbo, this is what you'd see on like if you're just doing like a 5.3, bone stock 5.3, put in your car, first time you want to do a turbo, so you want to make 600-700 horsepower with it, the S300 turbo is great. The next step up is the S400 stuff. This is what's most common, just a 76 millimeter, 76, 78, 96, just like the out the box, not really anything super extravagant. You can go really fast at the track. Dave is a great example with his car, the Rock Lobster. He went out there going 5s every single Thursday at Galot, test and tune with an S400 chassis, 76 millimeter turbo, straight out the box. So you can make some good power with it. The 88 is like the bread and butter for the guys that are really gonna go and try to make some power with the S400 stuff. The thing I like about the S400 stuff is they are 100% interchangeable. That footprint and everything on them is the same. So you can start out with this, and when you maximize this, you can sell this turbo and buy this one. This is an 88, 102 or 103, a little bit bigger backside. It's gonna have more top end. It's not gonna choke the motor up as much. But what I really like about it is they're so interchangeable. They also make a 91 millimeter, which is like what I have on the Cow, just a little bit bigger compressor wheel. So the S400 stuff, a lot of people run. They're really good. Don't talk smack on the S400 stuff. A lot of guys are like a little snobby. If it's not a GT55 turbo, it's not really all that badass. And that is just ridiculous to me because guys go really fast on those turbos. Not to mention, you put two of these guys together, you can go really fast like Hank. And then you get over here to the GT55 stuff. Like I said, this is what you see in most, small tire racing, single turbo stuff. They make this all the way down to an 88 millimeter, all the way up to like 110 or 118 millimeter turbo. So this thing right here is bad to the bone. We have run a turbo almost identical to this when we set the hydraulic roller record, when we ran LDR. A 98mm turbo from Force Inductions will literally peel your muffin cap back blue. If your engine program is not together, this turbo will expose it. No questions asked. They are badass. The turbo technology, the amount of power you can make with a single 98mm turbo is insane. The 98 is like the bread and butter for the GT55 stuff because, at least around here it is, because a lot of the stuff has a 98mm cap on it, or it has in the past. Now they've just recently opened it up where you can run some even larger stuff, and you see the 110s, 118s, and 120s becoming more and more popular. But this thing right here, highly recommend if you're looking to do a race car. Logan has one of these. He's going to try to drive it on the street. It is a little bit large for driving on the street, but you can do it if you have a healthy motor with some good compression. CJ's got one of these on his car, 388 cubic inch motor, on a little bit on the smaller side, but it's going to be running on methanol, so it should spin it no problem. We have this exact turbo. Actually, we have the Force Inductions gangster version of this turbo on Eddie Murphy, which we're going to drive it around on the street on E85, and then the track race it with methanol. That's also a 388 inch LS. So work the turbo. We have a motor that'll hang on for a little bit at least, and then it'll spit the guts out of it. So there's your difference between them all. Horsepower rating is pretty much it. If you call up Jose and you say, hey man, I want to make 1200 horsepower, they're not going to tell you to get this turbo because, like I said, it's just not going to perform well. If you're looking to make it 1,000, 12, 1,500 horsepower range, right here is what you're going to be looking for. Or you can do two of these guys, which is what I found out on Hank. The twin turbo stuff really impressed me. If you want to make the 2000, 18, 19, 2000, 2100, they're going to stick in the GT55 chassis, and they work great. The big thing that is important to note is you can't just directly swap an S400 turbo with a GT55 turbo. The actual footprint of the turbo is different from like the center of the drain mount, which is how a lot of guys mount them, to where the T6 flange is. That changes. So your hot side wouldn't line up, nor would your cold side line up. So if you go from a S400 turbo to a GT55 turbo, you're going to have to redo and modify the turbo kit and stuff like that. But I guess really the main reason why I want to make this video is a lot of guys message me and they say, hey man, I want to put a turbo on the car, I want to run this turbo, and it's not really the right turbo. If you go on the website, TDI Turbos, Force Induction Turbos, they'll tell you the horsepower rating of these turbos. You got to stay within that rating. There's no point to put a 2,000 horsepower turbo on your 1,200 horsepower street car because it's just going to run like shit. It's like putting the wrong injector in the car. It's going to be very hard to tune. Not great. Will it work? In theory, yes. Sure. Will it be enjoyable? Probably not. No. So I highly recommend the TDI stuff. These are very budget-friendly turbos in the big picture. I mean, you're talking about the performance of some of these $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 turbos where you can get nearly half the price. So I highly recommend the TDI stuff. We stock it here at Nasty Speed and Performance. So if you guys are interested in any of these turbos, we have two of these guys in stock, the twin 66mm turbos. These are actually larger than what I have on Hank, and they really impressed me. We have twin 62s on there, and they drive absolutely great. They drive great on the street. We're running on pump E85, and they perform really well at the track. And I don't even think we're out of turbo. I think we are out of fuel system. So that just shows you how badass these turbos are. It was, when I purchased the turbos, I was really looking to go out there and make 1,200 horsepower with them, and we've made, the fuel consumption says we've made as much as like 1650 as far as horsepower. So all these units here, I highly recommend purchasing a TDI unit over like a VS Racing unit, just because the quality is much higher. Never had any failures. We've run, I couldn't tell you how many turbos. We probably had 20 of these different turbos on cars. Never had any failures with them. So they work great, they're redundant, performance is outstanding, and it's tough to beat a high quality product like that. So if you guys are interested in your stuff, if you guys are interested in any of this turbo stuff, check out Force Inductions TDI. We're also dealers here at Nasty Speed Performance, so you can send us a message. Like I said, that'll be the first link in the description below. We'd love to help you spec your build out. We also keep all the other stuff in stock. We got Wilson throttle body elbows, throttle bodies. We have VS Racing wastegates, blow-off valves, Turbo Smart wastegates and blow-off valves. You name it, we can keep that stuff in stock. Pretty much everything to build a turbo kit. We have some materials here. We got some flanges. We got some drain mounts. So you name it. I like doing the turbo stuff, so we keep a lot of the stuff in stock, and we'll definitely get your head in the right direction. So hopefully this sheds some light on knowing what turbo to buy. Just know, not all 88mm turbos are the same. Just know that. So Don't be out there buying some bullshit straight off the boat from China, and when it makes 7 horsepower, being like, well, John, you told me to get this turbo. I didn't. Here's your disclaimer. Get something from TDI. These are badass and super high quality. So that's going to wrap it up. Any questions, please comment down below. I'll hang out in the comment section and we can have a little conversation there. Let me know what turbo you guys are running on your setup and what you like. I know everyone's got the preference. Mine is definitely Force Induction's TDI because they've done us great. We've set some records with them. We've gone really fast and we've hurt some feelings with it. So we can't ask for anything more than that. Other than that, hope you guys have a great Monday and we'll see you guys in the next upload.